Marshall Matt Dillon and Miss Kitty Russell stand as one of television's most unforgettable pairs. For 2 decades, viewers tuned into Gunsmoke not only for the action in Dodge City, but also for the subtle tension between the lawman and the saloon keeper. They flirted, they teased, and they shared quiet, heartfelt moments. Yet despite 20 years together on screen, their relationship never became a feelings or tied the knot. And surprisingly, the clearest answer came from James Arness himself. When Gunsmoke first hit radio in 1952, few could have predicted it would become television's longest-running Western. By 1955, CBS had decided to bring it. Fans still ask why the two never confessed the story to TV. John Wayne was the first name on their list, but the Duke declined, recommending a young actor he believed could carry the role, James Arness. At 6'7", with a rugged presence and a real war hero's scars, Arness embodied the marshal before he even put on the badge. Having survived a near-fatal injury in World War II, he brought grit, pain, and quiet strength to the screen. Amanda Blake joined the cast in her mid-20s as Kitty Russell, the fiery yet compassionate owner of the Long Branch Saloon. Kitty was unlike most women portrayed on television at the time. She was independent, sharp-tongued, and could hold her own among the roughest cowboys. When the show shifted to color in the mid-1960s, Blake's striking presence made her character shine even more. For 19 seasons, she stood beside Arness, and together they formed one of TV's most enduring partnerships. The chemistry between Matt and Kitty was undeniable, and audiences picked up on it immediately. But Gunsmoke's writers and producers made a very deliberate choice. The relationship would remain unspoken. Arness later explained that the producers believed ambiguity was the secret ingredient. If Matt and Kitty openly pursued romance, it might distract from the action, the Western grit, and the stories about justice on the frontier. By keeping things subtle, an arm around a shoulder, a knowing glance, a soft hug, the tension lingered and fans kept hoping for more. Arness admitted that he was often asked why the two never kissed or declared their love. His answer was simple. The producers thought it was more titillating to leave it to the viewer's imagination. Amanda Blake agreed. She often joked about the old stereotype that Western heroes were closer to their horses than to women, but she knew the bond between Kitty and Matt was deeper than the show ever showed. Behind the scenes, Blake and Arness shared a genuine friendship, built on respect and trust, which carried into their performances. The writers occasionally toyed with storylines that tested their relationship. In some episodes, Kitty faced temptation from old flames or new admirers, while Matt found himself drawn into complicated situations with women from his past. But each time, the subplots only highlighted the unspoken loyalty between the marshal and the saloon keeper. Fans could sense that no matter what, they belonged to each other even if the show never spelled it out. Still, the restraint sometimes frustrated loyal viewers. Season after season, letters poured in asking the writers to let Matt and Kitty's romance develop. But the producers held firm, believing that once the mystery was gone, so was part of the magic. Arness himself said he thought the choice helped keep audiences invested. The question of what if became part of what made Gunsmoke so engaging. By the 1970s, after nearly 2 decades, cracks began to show. Amanda Blake grew frustrated with the lack of her character's direction. Eventually, she decided to leave during the 19th season, ending her run on the series. James Arness would carry Gunsmoke into its 20th and final season, but without Kitty, the show never felt quite fresh. Storylines for Kitty and clashed with producers over everything from costumes to her quite the same. Off-screen, Arness often defended Blake's contribution to the series, praising her talent and calling her casting as Kitty one of the smartest decisions the producers ever made. For her part, Blake later admitted that while she sometimes wished the show had taken more risks with romance, she understood why they kept the dynamic restrained. Gunsmoke was, after all, a Western first and foremost, and the producers didn't want to lose that identity. Looking back, the decision not to let Matt and Kitty become a couple may have been frustrating at the time, but it's also part of why the series remains so legendary today. Their relationship was layered, mysterious, and timeless. It allowed viewers to project their own hopes and ideas onto the characters, keeping the story alive long after the show ended. When Amanda Blake returned for the reunion films years later, the chemistry between her and Arness of unspoken affection and restrained longing. In the end, Matt Dillon and Miss Kitty didn't need a wedding or a kiss to cement their place in television history. Their bond, became one of the most memorable dynamics ever seen on screen. And nearly 50 years later, fans are still debating, still imagining, and still cherishing the relationship that almost was in Dodge City. It was still there, proving that some connections never fade. In